Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is Callie Teegardin coming live this evening out of Sugar Land, Texas. And I have my dear friend tonight, Bryan Perez, with me out of South Carolina. So welcome, Bryan. It's great to have you on.
Thanks, Callie. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. We've talked about doing this for a really long time, and finally our schedules connected. And so I'm really excited to talk to you tonight about building a relationship-based business. I know you've done that in your real estate business over the last 5.5 years. Have you been in real estate?
Yeah, actually, I'm finishing up my 4th year.
Okay, and it was 5.5 years ago that you started SendOutCards, and then
Correct.
you started real estate after the fact, which is very different. Most people start real estate, then find SendOutCards. So
Right.
I definitely want to talk to you about that. But you grew up in South Carolina, or not South Carolina, Southern California.
Right,
And
yeah.
now are in South Carolina with a few stops, like in Las Vegas along the way.
Yep, and Maryland, yep.
And Maryland. You've been in commission sales for over 20 years.
I have.
So at a young age, you knew you wanted to be your own boss and not have to answer to someone else.
Correct. Yep.
Right? You had a background from the military as well.
Yeah, and that's actually where I learned that I didn't want to say yes sir, no ma'am, yes ma'am.
Right? It was like, yeah, that's not for me.
Nope.
At least you learned that at a young age.
Yep.
You've built your life so you can spend time with the most important things to you. Spending time on yourself, developing yourself, and spending time with your family. I know your family, your kids make a huge impact and difference in your life.
They do. Yes, they do.
Yeah. You enjoy real estate, and you love sharing with others how to build their business through building better relationships, and you've created a second income stream out of that, and we're definitely going to talk about that. And one of the things I love about you, and you've always said this, you only work with people you really want to work with.
Right. People that I want to work with, not people that I have to work with. There's a difference.
There's a huge difference. So let's just dive in. So what does it take, Bryan, to build a business just being focused on relationships instead of only being focused on the sales?
Beginning with the end in mind. In fact, when I started my real estate business, like you had said earlier, 5.5 years ago, I was introduced to SendOutCards. I was looking for a way to build meaningful relationships, business relationships. And then about a year into it, I met a couple at a SendOutCards relationship marketing event, Gail and Steve. And she had mentioned that previous year, she had closed 51 real estate transactions, all referral. She showed me a little bit about how she did it. You know, one thing that she mentioned, because I've always sent out handwritten cards, notes, when I was in the car business from 1998 to 2003. And then when I got into the mortgage business in 2003, from 2010, I continued on handwriting cards, thank you cards, just appreciating people. And then in 2010, from 2000 till the end of 2014, when I was introduced to SendOutCards, within that time, I just did not ever handwrite a card. So when SendOutCards came into my life, it made sense to me because I knew the importance of that tangible touch. But when I started using it for real estate, and Gail actually inspired me to see bigger. Darla, who we both know, she calls it seeing dead people. Like literally, I saw dead people. When I asked Gail, I'm like, so what is your daily method of operation? Like, how have you built a referral-based real estate business? And she said, Bryan, every day I send 3 to 5 cards a day, appreciating people, just being a positive light in their life. There's so much negativity in the world. And she said, what I'm going to tell you next, I hope it resonates with you, because I'm telling you, nobody will ever throw a picture of themselves, their kids, their homes, their cars, or their pets away. And when she mentioned that to me, I was like, wow, it was like my whole life went on rewind all the way down to 1998. And I don't ever recall any one of my clients ever saving one of my handwritten cards. But everyone I send a card to these days with pictures of them, they keep them all.
So those cards, before you were introduced to SendOutCards, were like the typical business stationery, or just like the little thank you notes that you could pick up at Walmart or Target or any type of store?
Yeah, they were just regular cards. I would buy in bulk, and I would just keep them in my desk. And every morning I would either go in my cubicle when I was in the car business, and when I was in the mortgage business, I'd go in my office, and my friends would make fun of me because every day for 45 minutes to an hour, I was handwriting thank you cards. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for taking that test drive. Thank you for the referral. Happy birthday. And it's just so much easier to do it now with the system that we have.
Yeah, on your phone, and you can even voice
Mm-hmm.
text it right in.
Right. Yeah.
So what I find interesting about this is that when I meet new real estate agents a lot, they are like, real estate overtakes their life. They're constantly working. Their hours are not their own. But I've never seen that, because I knew you before you got involved in real estate, but
Right.
I've never seen that in your life, in your business. You still have time for your family. But pre-COVID, your kids were very active in sports. You always had time for their sporting events. So was this, using SendOutCards, did that make the difference, or what made the difference for you to be able to control and own your real estate business instead of it owning you?
That's a great question. So I've always, my significant other, Christy, we've always, every month we get our calendar, and we're like, okay, you know what? Here's what I have planned. Here's what we got going on. Here's the kids' events, and we fill out. I mean, I put everything on my phone, on my Google Calendar, and we fill in their schedule, and then we work our schedule around their schedule. So when SendOutCards came into my life, before real estate, obviously, the business part of SendOutCards, it was part of the plan. It fit the plan. And that's why it made so much sense for me to become an affiliate with SendOutCards, because not only have I been on commission sales for the past 20 years, and I see how many salespeople, they go from one job to another, and they're always starting over from the first step. They're starting over, and they never build anything substantial because they're not focused on relationships. I actually did an interview yesterday with a guy who I met in Maryland. He owns one of the biggest networking teams out there. And because I've been sending him cards since 2014, just saying, hey, Kurt, I appreciate you. I'm thinking about you. Happy birthday. About 3 weeks ago, he reached out to me and he's like, hey, I want to interview you on the power of consistency, because
Wow.
I've noticed you're very consistent in everything that you do. And I believe my team members need to hear that. And so it's consistency. It's consistency. Callie, I'm just consistently beginning with the end in mind, which the beginning with the end in mind is, hey, my family comes first and then business comes second. Yeah.
And it works for you. So someone who's struggling, I would say, with that balance, what would you recommend? Has family always been first, or did you go through a part of your life where it was like work, which we all seem to get into that, and then this realization occurs? Or has it always been that you've had that priority of family first? And if someone's trying to make that a priority, what do you recommend?
Well, growing up, so I met my real father once, and I grew up with a couple stepdads. My mom went through several divorces, and so I remember my stepdads never being home. They were great providers, and we had a nice home. And then when my mom ended up getting a divorce from my first stepdad in Palm Springs, that's where I grew up at, and we moved into the San Fernando Valley. We went through a rough time, but the bottom line is both of my stepdads were always working. They were always working. They provided. And I just realized at a young age that, hey, you know what? It was a seed that was planted in me. And subconsciously, I was like, hey, you know what? If I ever do become a dad, that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to miss the finer moments, because I remember being, playing baseball when I was younger, and nobody was ever around. And I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like that feeling of hitting a base hit or hitting a home run and you look around and nobody's there. So, Yeah, I just, it's about putting your priorities in order. We hear about, what is it that we want? What is our why? And I just wrote everything down. Hey, what's important to me? I don't know if you've heard me say this, but I say it often. I have it in the back of my cards. Make the little decisions with your head and the big ones with your heart. And so I've always done that, and that just, like, I'll give you an example, Callie. So yesterday I get a phone call from someone who is on I call them my top 100. These are my top 100 are people who, for real estate, that have either bought or sold through me, people that are in the pipeline that have indicated they're going to buy or they're going to sell, or people who will send me referrals, but they'll never do business with me because one of their relatives is in the business, right? So this individual from the gym, I've been working with him. Nothing has come out of it, but on Father's Day, I sent them a card and a couple brownies. And he called me yesterday. He said, hey, you know what? How far are you away from North Charlotte? I want to buy a condo there. And where he wanted to buy is about 45 to 50 minutes away. I referred it out. I could have easily went over there, met him over there, showed him homes. But you know what? It just did not fit my plan. So I referred him out. And I have another realtor who knows the area better than I do that's going to be working with him. And I'd rather just get a referral.
Right. You get a referral.
Cool with it.
Yeah. You don't know the area. So you're going to spend so much time doing research to make a little bit more, maybe a lot. But if you know, what I call it is knowing what your enough is, right? There's so many people that are out there working and they think life is about more, and more, about having more, a bigger house, more money, a bigger promotion, more toys, more stuff, but they never have the time to play with any of it. And that when we figure out what our enough is, it may not be a bigger check. The enough might be, what I'm making now is great. Now I need to figure out how to do that and spend more time with my family.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. And I guess to answer your question on top of that is we have to learn how to say no.
Right.
Because if we say yes to everything, we'll drive ourselves nuts and we'll never have time for anything.
Do you think because you've learned to say no, opportunities arise that would not have arisen otherwise? Meaning because you're willing to say no to some things, then better things come along your way and you actually have the time to do them because you said no to other projects. I believe so. I do believe in the law of attraction. And, in this system that we use allows us to be able to set the law of attraction in motion. And I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine this morning who's a realtor, and she's been doing real estate for over 20 years, and she lives paycheck to paycheck. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, why is it that you live paycheck to paycheck if you've been doing this for 20 years? I'm like, there's something within your filters that is not right. I'm like, you know what? Just based on our friendship, can I be honest with you? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you know what? You don't think you're good enough. I'm like, you don't think you're good enough. And you attract what you are. You do.
And she's like, you know what, Brian? I've never had anybody tell me that, but you are so right. We attract who we are.
We definitely do.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to grow yourself to attract more people that you want to attract?
So Gary Keller Williams, he wrote a book called The One Thing.
Yep, love it.
The One Thing. I love that book because he talks about, and Darren Hardy, the owner of Success Magazine, he talks about you got to eat that big frog first. The things that we hate doing, but we know that we have to do because it gets us the best results. So, and Simon Chan, I don't know if you know who that is. Simon Chan, MLM Nation. He talks about you have to do the mundane, the little boring things that you don't want to do. And for me, believe it or not, is sending my 5 cards a day. Like literally, it's sending my 5 cards a day because you know what, Callie? I mean, you know this. There's days, no matter how positive we are, there's just days we wake up and we feel like crap.
Right, totally.
We feel, and we're like, oh my, I'm not good enough. Things aren't happening fast enough. my kids, and just you lose a deal that you thought it was 100%, and things happen, and what they do for me is they allow me to put my heart on a card and transfer that energy to somebody else. And I can literally, as I'm sending the cards, I can feel my energy just shift and all this weight off my back. And at the end of the day, it's all about how we feel.
It really is.
Because how we feel determines how we act, and how we act determines our daily method of operation, what we do every single day, and the results that we get.
So you are building a real estate business. On the side of that, you're also building a SendOutCards business. So you're using SendOutCards in your real estate business, though you're also attracting customers and a team. So what are some of your daily method of operation that, like, I can't go to bed until I've done these things in my business? So one, send 5 cards a day.
Yeah, send five cards a day. I'm always reaching out to people, just, hey, how you doing? And I'm never pitching anybody. How you doing? I'll give you an example. My buddy Kurt, who invited me to speak on his call, I've been sending him cards since 2014, and he asked me. I attracted him. Right? It's attraction marketing. He asked me to speak on his call, so I spoke on his call. And out of that call, there were 3 people who I connected with, and I have Zoom calls with 3 of them.
That's awesome.
And it's just because I did my daily method of operation, which is I sent my 3 to 5 cards every single day. And I get people that reach out to me every day. Hey, Brian, thank you for the card. Brian, hey, I have a question for you. You know what? I do, and I believe in the Purple Cow. Have you ever read the Purple Cow?
Seth Godin, but I haven't read that one.
I'm telling you, you have to put it on your list. So the Purple Cow is all about branding yourself, being authentic. So one of the things that I do on my social media is 85% is personal and 15% is business. So my goal on my social media is I want people, by the time we have a conversation, now it's been Zooms, but normally before COVID, we're coffee or lunch, they already know all about me. They already know who I am. It's just a matter of whether, how can we help each other, right? And with the combination of my social media of just using the Purple Cow method, branding myself, what it is that I love, my family, fitness, travel, and, not the kind of travel that you travel.
I haven't traveled. But besides that, I haven't traveled. Aspen and Atlanta in 6 months, not much. But pre-COVID, yes.
Yeah, but hey, before I forget, I want to ask you, how is it that you're very consistent in building your business as well? How do you stay so consistent with? Now obviously things have slowed down, but with your travel schedule, does it come habitually or?
Most days it comes habitually because I've been in SendOutCards for 11 years. What I think has become habitual more than anything is building relationships in general, right? I come out of a sales background like you, corporate America sales, but commission with that. And I always knew the power of my relationships in staying in touch. So I was actually having a conversation with a team member the other day, and she's like, how many people a day do you reach out and say, hey, do you want to take a look at SendOutCards? And I'm like, well, that's an interesting conversation. I said, because that's not what I'm reaching out and doing. I'm reaching out and wishing people happy birthdays or happy half birthdays, right? Mm-hmm. That I'm known for. I'm sending cards. I'm building relationships. And then when a door opens, right?
Right.
Then I'm like, you want to take a look because there's a conversation. And I found that when you just get really interested in people, them and their lives, that's when the doors open, and you go from trying to always sell something, or you and I both have heard the ABCs, always be closing, to just always be building relationships. And when you do and you put people first, the rest of it really takes care of itself.
Yeah, and and the reason I asked you that question was because you had asked me a question like, how do I go about building a referral-based business. And basically what you just said right now is you begin with the end in mind.
I really do.
And with relationships, and then wherever that takes you, whichever door opens or however way you can be a service to that person, not necessarily by selling them your service or product, but by being a connector, you create value in the marketplace.
And when you do that, stuff is going to naturally come back to you, right?
Correct.
The law of reciprocity. It's
right.
Giving to give. It will come back. And the interesting thing, Brian, of talking about one of the new things I listened to a podcast recently. It was Tim Ferriss and Hugh Jackman. Jordan had actually recommended it, and I listened to it. And in there, Hugh talked about every day he sits down and he writes his intentions for the day before the day starts, or when the day starts. And so I've been doing that. And every day I've been writing down, someone new contacts me about SendOutCards. And I will have to tell you, it's happening about 4 out of 5 days.
Wow.
Right? And literally today, this morning, when the day started, I had no appointments to show SendOutCards. I had 2 today that reached out, and we set appointments same day, right? So it's just having that end in the mind, being very focused, and just being who you are and building those relationships.
So when you're setting your intentions out there, what exactly are you doing?
So I've got a journal that I write in every morning. And I write I just went through this course called, you guys, I know we're way off course, but it's okay. I went through this course called The Artist's Way, and it's about pulling out your creativity because I'm in the process of writing a book. It was a book that was recommended to me, so it's a 12-week course. And so I started writing morning pages, 3 pages every day of just like dumping. And once I finished the course, one of the things I decided along with those morning pages was I was going to write out 10 things every morning I'm grateful for. Because that practice of gratitude, just like sending out cards, right? That's a gratitude practice. It makes you, and it can't be the same 10 things every day. I'm grateful for my husband every day, but I can't write, I'm grateful for Steve today. I have to find something I'm grateful for him about, right? I try to make them different. And then what happened in my day previously that I'm grateful for. But then I sit down and I try to write like 5 to 10 intentions. So one of my intentions today was that you and I would have a great connection on this interview, and it would go really well. Another intention was someone new would reach out to me about SendOutCards. Another intention was to make a difference in someone's life. I wrote that the other day, and literally that night I got a text from Elaine. She said, you and your post make such a difference. So it's just really making me align. And I think there's something about writing that intention that like puts the universe into motion and puts me into motion to do things to make those intentions happen. Yeah.
We hear Jordan talk about manifestation, all the time in his book Beach Money, and it works.
It really does. And so we've been talking about SendOutCards this whole time, and I'm going to go real quickly and send you a card. But before I go there, you're trying to send 3 to 5 cards a day. You've said a couple times. So how do you choose, or how do you decide who to send a card to?
Well, I'll give you an example. Just before this call, I was on Facebook, and one of my friends just posted that her husband just turned 55 today.
Wow.
So I just sent him a card. This morning, the individual who contacted me that I went ahead and referred out to another agent, I just sent them a thank you card. Just, TJ, thank you for thinking of me when you think real estate. And just gratitude, just letting people know that, hey, you know what, you matter.
Right.
And it's nothing specific. It's just every day, 5 cards every single day. And if I have time, I'll do more than that. I'll do 10, but it's just gratitude, just being grateful on birthdays, anniversaries, vacations, especially now, people are starting to get away because they're loosening, the guidelines as far as travel and stuff. And people are like, hey, what? I'm so glad this is much needed. I was able to get out to the beach. Well, that's a great memory.
Right.
Like this COVID thing, it's a hopefully once in a lifetime thing, right? And it's a memory. And I'll just say, hey, Callie, uh, just it looked like you had a great time in Myrtle Beach. What a great memory. Thought you may want to capture it. Cheers to many more, Bryan Perez. And that's all I do every day.
And I think that's huge because we are in the day and age that we never print photos anymore. We take them on these devices right here. We put them on social media, but we don't have a tangible copy of them. It's not like when we used to have the rolls of film. We take them to the drugstore and then, we get them back a day or a week later, and then it went to an hour later. And
The
we're
Polaroid.
like so excited. And then we're, oh, I closed my eyes in that one. Right?
You remember the Polaroids?
Yes.
We're shaking it.
Right. And so we don't print them. And that, I think, is one of the really powerful things with SendOutCards. And I'm going to come over and share my screen on my phone right now, is that literally you can take those photos. And I was Facebook stalking you earlier, and I know you guys have a new member in your family. And so
Yep.
I wanted to send you a card. And before I go in and show everyone that, when I found this system 11 years ago, I was looking for a simple way to build birthday thank you and holiday cards and send them out to my clients. And when I found this, I'm like, so much easier. I was like you, I hand wrote notes, and then I got this great idea to have my neighbor's mom to handwrite all my thank yous, until my girlfriend called me up and called me out because it wasn't my handwriting, right? And so a good deed had gone wrong. And so when I found SendOutCards, I loved it because it was so simple. I could literally come in here and pick a thank you card, or I could come in and build my own and put my own photo on the card. So that's what I'm going to do, because I don't know if you have any printed cards yet of Apollo. So I decided to go grab one. How cute. He's so awesome. And he's a bird dog, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, he
Cute
sure is.
ears, yeah. So cute. So I'm going to put that on the front of the card. And let me guess, when you get this, you'll be keeping this card. And if not you, your son.
He'll probably take it for me. Yeah, put it in his room.
Right? And so I can just swipe to the inside left. I can add another photo. I can add text, or I can leave it blank. I can swipe to the inside right. This is where I love to put my message. Congratulations on the new family member, exclamation point. Apollo is awesome, exclamation point. It was really great chatting with you, period. Thank you so much for your time, period. I hope you have an amazing day, period. New line, all the best, comma. And of course, it doesn't always understand me, so I can just come back up and fix Apollo. Is that how you spell it?
Yep. APOLLL. Yep. LLL. Yep.
And then I mentioned handwriting and signature, so I can come here and select. I can come in here and you'll see SendOutCards has all different fonts, but I'm moving down to this one that's called personal. You can add your own handwriting and signature into our system. And so I like to put my signature in blue. It's a little big and obnoxious, so we're just going to make it a little bit smaller. And then I can save that message, and there's the card, right? Simple. And then I can swipe to the back and I can brand myself and or my business. So this is the branding I'm using right now. We have our Relationship Marketing Grand Summit coming up next month, Bryan. Virtual, so I know we're all going to be there September 9th or 10th. But if you're watching this webinar, you're looking for ways to grow your business, get back with the person who invited you on. They can tell you more about this event. You definitely want to be there. And so I'm ready to send my card. And I can come in, I can send a card, or I can send a gift. Love gifts for referrals or special occasions. We have all kinds of different things, including gift cards and brownies and cookies, things for men and women. So I can send the card and gift, or only a card. I can come down here and add my contact. Bryan, I've sent cards before, so he's already in here. But if he wasn't, I could add him in or import him in. And there you are, and I hit done. I come down, I hit continue, and you will see my card is free. This is because I'm on our unlimited subscription, unlimited heartfelt prompting cards. So each unique card I send out to a single recipient are free. I hit submit, and I am done. SendOutCards will print, stuff, stamp, and mail it for me. I remember, Brian, when we went to that option with the unlimited, and for those that are watching, we have multiple options. So if you're only going to send a couple cards a day, a month, get back with the person. They'll help you determine what's best for your needs. But I remember when I first saw that, Brian, I was blown away.
Yeah, it's if you're in business or a salesperson, it's really the only way to go.
Yeah, because now I remember before when each card, like it wasn't free like it is in the unlimited now on those heartfelt promptings, I would have to think about, do I really want to send that card? Do I want to spend the money? And now it actually makes me send more cards because I'm like, why not?
Yep, yep, yeah, yeah.
So I know we've been talking for a little while and we're about out of time here. To close out, what one or two last things would you like to share with everyone about how Send Out Cards has truly made a difference in your life, your family's life, in your business? Is there anything we haven't talked about that you would like to share?
Yeah, so we just moved recently, and I'm actually in Christy's office right now.
Okay.
And so here's a card that I sent her on Mother's Day.
Oh, how sweet.
Yep. Here, Mother's Day 2020.
Look,
Yeah.
that was when your kids were little, though.
Yeah, that's when they were little. Yep, yep. And then here's a picture of when we left Vegas.
Oh,
That
wow.
was a party. It was a Christmas party that my friends threw for us. And then here's the house that we just bought, and it's been a long journey. And then here's our boys, and then this is us last year in Machu Picchu in Peru.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, and so personal. I mean, you've heard as far as like business relationships helping me do that, but as far as like personally, I send her and my kids cards all the time.
I love that.
And they have them like they save them. They save them. My oldest son, he has his cards all over his room like posters, and it's at the end of the day, like I said earlier, make the little decisions with your head and the big ones with your heart.
Yeah, and I think, sending your family cards like that, you say that, reminded me, I have in my desk here, my husband's in England still, right? We're in the immigration process. And literally he has his own Send Out Cards account. And I swear half his cards in his account come to me, but it's so nice to be able to walk out the mail. We haven't seen each other in literally 6 months, except for on Zoom calls. And to be able to get that card and know he's thinking about me, and to build our relationship long distance this long, which we never expected.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of times we we remember to appreciate everything around us, but we forget to appreciate the most meaningful things in our life, which is ourselves and our loved ones. We just yeah.
Yeah, and our
And we
founder
don't, and we
Cody
don't,
Bate.
and we don't and we don't real and we don't realize that until we lose one, and then it's too late, and it's like, man, I wish I would have done more.
Right, and I mean our founder Cody Bateman says, "What you appreciate, so it grows." So yeah, it's so important not to take for granted our families and our friends that are closest to us, but also to appreciate and love them. And this tool alone, just doing that, besides what it can do in business, is worth it.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, it's if we're not right, nothing else around us is right.
So true. Well, Brian,
Yep.
thank you so much for being on with me tonight. It was great that we were finally able to do this. I absolutely love spending time with you, learning from you. So thank you so much for your time. And for those of you that are watching us, thanks for joining us tonight. If you have questions on Send Out Cards, the system, or the business opportunity, or questions on the upcoming Relationship Marketing Grand Summit, please get back with the person who invited you on this webinar or shared this Facebook Live with you, and they can help answer all your questions. So thanks everyone, and good night. Bye now.
Thanks. Thank you.